A PostgreSQL table keeps growing. Dashboards show more storage, and some queries feel slower. The dangerous shortcut is to assume autovacuum is broken and jump straight to vacuum full or a configuration change. Do not start there. Growth is a symptom. PostgreSQL statistics are estimates, and maintenance can take locks, consume I/O, or hide the real cause. The safer first question is narrower. Can we collect enough read-only evidence to decide whether object-level investigation is justified, without exposing table names or changing the database? This episode uses one identity-free pressure snapshot to answer that question. PostgreSQL creates new row versions when data changes. Old row versions can become dead tuples after updates or deletes, and vacuum makes that space reusable. But a dead tuple estimate is not the same thing as exact on-disk load. A high count may reflect recent change volume, delayed cleanup, a long-running transaction, visibility limitations, workload shape, or timing. A low count can also be misleading if statistics are stale or the observer lacks permission. So the first snapshot should separate what was observed from what still needs proof. It should tell us whether pressure is low, worth reviewing, or impossible to evaluate with the current visibility. The reviewed card reads PostgreSQL statistics and returns one summary row. It aggregates estimated live rows, dead tuples, modification pressure and the maximum dead ratio, then places the result in a bounded pressure bucket. Object identity stays inside the database. The output does not include schema names, table names, users, SQL text, process identifiers, client addresses or business objects. It also reports insufficient visibility explicitly instead of pretending that missing data means zero pressure. The card performs no insert, update, delete, analyze, vacuum, parameter change, termination, failover or permission grant. That makes it suitable as a first observation layer, not as a maintenance command. The contract was verified in isolated synthetic environments across PostgreSQL 14.20, 15.18, 16.14, 17.10 and 18.4. Each fixture inserted 2,000 rows, deleted 800, and produced a maximum dead ratio of 25%. All 5 versions returned the same 14-column summary contract and the same review evidence pressure bucket. Repeated snapshots over the stable fixture were byte-for-byte identical. A separate low visibility observer returned insufficient visibility. Finally, an isolated vacuum analyze recovery fixture returned dead rows to 0 and the bucket to low observed pressure. This proves the card's behavior in those fixtures, not in production. How should you read the result? Low observed pressure means the current snapshot does not justify escalation by itself. Review evidence pressure means preserve the snapshot, compare it with workload timing, and obtain approved object-level evidence before deciding what to change. Insufficient visibility means stop and fix the evidence path through the authorized owner. Do not silently grant yourself broader privileges. The summary is intentionally conservative. A bucket is a routing signal, not a root cause label. It cannot tell you whether autovacuum tuning is wrong, whether a long transaction blocks cleanup, whether free space is reusable, or whether the table should be rewritten. There are clear stop conditions. Stop if collecting object-level detail would expose customer data outside the approved environment. Stop if the only path requires permanent privilege expansion. Stop if recovery, failover or another change is already active. Stop if the available evidence cannot distinguish recent workload from persistent pressure. And never turn this snapshot into an automatic vacuum full. Parameter change, table rewrite or process termination. Those actions need object identity, workload context, lock and storage impact, rollback planning, an approved window and a named owner. Estimates can prioritize investigation, but they cannot authorize maintenance. The evidence first sequence is simple. First, confirm the observation window and the authorized database scope. Second, run the read-only summary and preserve its timestamp. Version and visibility status. Third, if the bucket calls for review, correlate with approved object-level statistics. Transaction age, storage behavior and workload change. Fourth, let the responsible owner decide whether to observe, tune, vacuum or plan a rewrite. The canonical SQL resource contains the field definitions, version boundary, reviewed SQL, sample output and stop conditions. Use it as a collection contract, not as production maintenance authorization. Preserve the evidence first, then decide.